All right, guys, we're gonna do a tricky one today. We're enjoying the sunshiny beaches of Neptune City. I tried to record this like once or twice already, but I'm thinking about tariffs today, okay? Like the tariff stuff versus global trade. I'm trying to do a lot of math, and it's a pain in the ass, okay? Because you need a little bit of math to understand this stuff. But instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say the conclusions. I'm just gonna say that they're true. I'm just gonna assert them, okay? And you're gonna believe me, because I don't wanna do math on the fly. You can Google it if you want. But basically the idea for tariffs versus global trade is that when you do global free trade, everyone profits, everyone benefits. There's more total stuff. Everyone can do the work that they're best at. Their productivity increases personally. We do the work we're best at, and then whatever we're best at, we trade with other people. Even if we could do everything better than another person, they can offset the work that they do on things that they're not as good at to make more of the things that they're good at making. And then there's more total stuff because they've focused on what they're good at. And then we can trade, and because there's more total stuff, we can offset what they have failed to produce by not doing things that they're not good at, and we can get more of the stuff that they're good at making. So like that's just like the short of it, but basically it makes everyone wealthier, everyone better off. You want as much global free trade as possible. And there's downsides to that, and we'll get to those, which tariffs try to fix. So what the idea for tariffs is that whenever someone makes one of those global free trades, two nations trade with each other, whatever, the American who's importing it doesn't super matter the details, but basically you're going to tax a little bit of that trade. It is us that pays, but it doesn't super matter. So we tax a little bit of that trade. It decreases how much we're trading, so that's going to increase the price of stuff. There's less stuff to go around. We are deliberately contracting the economy, and that's the goal, is that if foreign goods cost more, like we can't, as Americans, produce and sell cars at a certain cost that is lower than the cost that some other country can afford to do it. So what we do is we tariff them to raise the cost of their cars to be over the cost that we can produce them at. So then it makes sense for Americans to produce cars. That's the whole idea. The whole goal of tariff is to deliberately inflate prices. Anyone who says otherwise is lying on purpose, which is fine. There are upsides. That's not one of them. So what is the upside of this is that, people will say like, okay, well, we don't want to lose our auto industry because it's a super important capacity. We need to have these plants in place if we ever want to start producing military stuff. If there's like some crazy shit going on, it's an existential risk to the country. If we can't produce our own microchips, our own cars, if we can get cut off from these like super essential items by other countries during some global conflict, it's an existential risk. So it's worth contracting our economy to protect us against that risk. That's like the idea. And that's why Joe Biden did auto tariffs. That's why other people did that. It's like, we do it to protect key industries. What else is the idea? Is that vote buying is that if your personal industry is getting overwritten by other countries, then the government can step in and protect your industry at the cost of everyone in the entire country in order to buy your vote. It just is what it is. One of Mitt Romney's policy platforms was stop the bribes, which is stopping farm subsidies, when we do redistribution, we want to make things equitable. If someone is poor, we want to make them less poor. Sure. If someone's a farmer, we want to make them less poor. Huh? What? Why not just make poor people less poor? And let people do things that are productive. So there's a lot of that going on in politics where specific carve-outs are made for very specific industries, and tariffs is a good way of doing that. Is like supporting a specific industry in order to buy their support. What else are the upsides? The actual upsides for tariffs. So protecting industries is actually a real upside. We need to make sure that our key industries are protected. What are we doing with them is we're doing blanket tariffs. Why is this? And this is the worst economic theory in human history. This is like, now we're getting into the actual MAGA territory, is that Trump will talk about trade deficits, right? Is that we give $1,000 to Canada and they give us $1,000 worth of steel, just as an example, or $1,000 worth of lumber, right? And what Donald Trump thinks is happening is when we do that exchange, we're doing a trade deficit. They get more dollars and we get more steel, right? And at the end of the year, it comes out to like a couple billion, like $100 billion deficit. It's like, what? They're taking our dollars? They're winning in the trade. They're winning. They're getting more than we are. And that's not true, right? When you go to your grocery store, the grocery store isn't winning against you when it ends up with more dollars. Here's like the big question. Do you want to trade deficit or do you want to trade surplus? Do you want to get more dollars? Do you want to get more stuff, right? Let's say would you rather have a country where everyone has $1 billion, you want to print out $1 billion and hand them to everyone right now, or would you rather have a country where there's a gigantic house and 3 cars and food on the table for every single person. Which one of those do you want more stuff, or do you want more green paper money? I'm gonna give you guys a hint. You want more stuff. You don't want more green paper money. The benefit of the American hegemon, the geopolitical finance, oh no, like the World Bank, like all this crazy shit we've been doing for the past 100 years. The whole point of it, you know, the reason we're the global hegemon, the reason it's the most prosperous, successful country that's ever existed, is because of the American financial system. Like, we have the strong dollar. Every single country on the planet wants strong dollars, and those dollars, they come out of our printer. We print them from a printer. Okay, we print them from green pieces of paper. Okay, and we give people green pieces of paper that we printed out of a fucking printer, and they give us steel, and they give us lumber, and they give us clothes, and they give us Barbie dolls, and they screw the heads on for us. You know, they do everything in the world we want. And because we set up a stable financial system, everyone benefits from participating in it. Everyone is able to contribute. Everyone is able to get stuff that they could never get at the level of the development that they're at, because everyone is trading, everyone's participating in exchange for setting up that system, for having the stable currency, for, you know, making sure that global free trade can happen. We the world police, right? That's what we do. In exchange for all that, everyone uses the beautiful green paper American dollar for everything they do. They always want more green paper dollars, and we're the only people who can make them out of a fucking printer. Okay, and they give us stuff for dollars. That's the reward we get for being the world police and, you know, running the geopolitical global hegemon, blah, blah, blah. So that's cool. That's not a bad thing. Donald Trump somehow in his brain has been bamboozled, and this, it's just true, guys. I'm sorry, it's just true. It's just obviously true. As you can look at statements from him like, Canada is ripping us off. They're ripping us off for $300 billion, $200 billion. That's the trade deficit. When you look at how he calculated tariff rates, he took how much would we have to set tariffs to offset the trade deficits, assuming trade did not decrease, which obviously it's going to decrease when you start tariffing it. It's like, trade deficits are good, not bad. He wants the dollar to be weak. He wants your dollar to buy less things. This is not like a conspiracy. This is not crazy. This is just the stated policy of the administration, because they don't know economics. There's like 3 economists in the entire planet who believe this, and for some reason they work for Donald Trump. And yeah, it's just like a schizophrenic administration. Like, when I say he wants a weak dollar, if you look, value of dollar versus other currencies, you can go look at that right now. They've reduced the value of the dollar by 10% over the past 6 months. This is a deliberate, explicit policy, because when we have a weak dollar, then we get to sell things to people. We get to give them our steel. We get to give them our cars. We get to give away our rubber. We get to give away our software code, right? We get to sell more to them, and we get, when we sell, we get more dollars back. We get more dollars back. We can print fucking dollars, guys. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but like, if we want more dollars, you fucking pull the machine, right? Where it's like, it sounds unbelievable when I'm saying it. It's like, this can't be true. There has to be something else. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. That's what's going on. So, yeah, a little rambly of a video, but we'll post that one up for why tariffs are wacky and crazy. Okay, I think I touched on most of the key ideas.